Hour has arrived. I call this meeting to order. Commissioner Griffin, I'm going to ask you, if you will, please give us the invocation.
Let us pray. God and Father in heaven, thank you for this day. Thank you for many blessings you have bestowed upon us. We take and ask that you take a look down on this meeting. Take and give us wisdom, give us insight as what we need to do with our city. I want to take and ask that you especially bless the families in Orlando after the tragedy this week. Bless our soldiers on the battlefield. Bless our United States, our state, and our local government. All these things we ask in your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Gentlemen, you've got the agenda before you. I don't have any amendments to it. Do any of you? I entertain a motion that we approve the agenda.
Make a motion.
Motion made by Mr. Griffin. Is there a second? Thank you, Tommy.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. We have an agenda. Y'all, we've got a lot of stuff to cover. But if you'll bear with me, we'll try to handle it as expedient yet thorough as it needs to be. You've looked at the minutes now. I assume all of you have looked at the minutes. I entertain a motion relative to approving the minutes.
Make a motion.
Councilman, you're on time this time, weren't you? Councilman Bloodworth made a motion that we approve the minutes, seconded by Mr. Purser. Any further discussion or evidence of the minutes? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. We're going to have to, and I wound up with a blunder initially. Because of the nature of the insurance renewal and some litigation and stuff relative to our insurance coverage, our agent has asked that we go into executive session to discuss some of this stuff because of litigation. And so we're going to give her that, and we've discussed it with the attorney, and he seems to think we're in order with that. And we've also, Mr. Griffin has got some personnel items that he wants to discuss in the executive session. And our accountant, Ms. Metz, has got some administrative personnel issues relative to the budget that she wants to discuss. So we are going to go into executive session with reference to some legal and personnel matters, but we'll have to postpone this to the last item when we get down to executive session. So you ladies will just have to sit tight for a while. Okay, let's move on. Mr. Attorney, I think you're on the, you can bring us up to date on the work detail agreement with the Department of Corrections.
Not me. I
Not
thought
you?
we were doing the budget.
She wants to, just got to mention.
You can go ahead and approve the new budget. I just need to go in executive session with the budget for this year, but for the budget next year, you can go ahead.
Well, okay, you want, I had the other first, but it doesn't matter. It's fine with y'all now. Whatever you gentlemen like to do. You want to go ahead and handle that now, Tommy?
I'm just, I'm under the gun here because I'm advocate of open government. And I can't understand why we need to go in close.
Well, there's some personnel issues involved in it, Tommy. You'll understand when you get there. It's personnel.
Is
But
it
not for the new
complaint
budget.
against personnel?
It's
Not for the new budget.
not for the old budget. There's some personnel issues that she wants to bring to our attention, and it is personnel.
It's not just personnel, it has to be complaints against personnel. I mean, if we're talking about what somebody's being paid, that's not.
No, it's got nothing to do with that.
Well, I just, y'all got me in a bad spot here,
Okay.
because I'm publisher of the newspaper.
Well, I'm
And
coming
I just,
out.
I wish somebody had told me this beforehand, so I'd understand it. I'm sorry I'm publisher of the newspaper, but I ain't.
Well, Tommy, we went over the same thing that you did, but realizing the sunshine law, and we are an open government, and we want everything, and Tammy is the same way. We've discussed it, and because of some personnel issues relative to expenditures, she wants to discuss this in private with us. That's the old budget now, the budget that we're intending to amend. And I've discussed it with, I haven't discussed this aspect with you, but I've discussed the other. And we seem to think that we're in order in doing it.
Well, y'all can do it.
You're not going?
No, I'm not, until I understand what it's about. And I've not been explained that. And I'm telling you, I'm an open government advocate, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to be I don't mean to throw, I have my integrity and my,
So do I.
I mean, I just have to, I'm sorry, but nobody's explained this to me, and I don't know what it is, and it doesn't make sense to me. Until somebody does, I can't go in there.
Well, this-
Y'all can handle it without me. Y'all got a quorum, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with it.
Let me ask this, does it involve discussing or deliberating upon the appointment, employment, compensation, hiring, disciplinary action, or periodic evaluation or rating of an officer or employee?
Yes, it does. It's an evaluation of the circumstances, absolutely.
Evaluation of circumstances. Listen, y'all go ahead and do it. That's fine.
Well, this is
Y'all go
very-
ahead and do it. I don't have, there'll be no hard feelings. Y'all go ahead and do whatever you gotta do.
This,
That's fine.
this is very disheartening because I've been bragging for several days now at what a cooperative, and of course, dissension sometimes, Tommy, is good.
This is not dissension.
Yeah.
This is just my standards.
Well,
And I have to
are you
do-
saying, that we are proceeding on lesser standards than
No,
you?
y'all just go ahead and do it until somebody explains it to me.
Well, let's just do it in the open meeting. It'll be fine. Let's just do it in the open meeting.
I'm not trying to be difficult. Y'all can do it. Y'all don't need me in there.
Well, we,
I mean,
don't-
three of them can
we
do
got-
it just as well
Tommy,
as I can, and I'm not
Tommy.
being difficult.
we got more respect for you than that. And we
Well,
understand.
no.
But then we discussed the same thing that you're harping on here and thought that it would be in the best interest of the city of Hazlehurst for us to keep this in the house and discuss this in this situation, but we'll try
That's
to.
fine. I don't have a problem with that, and you'll never hear another word about it.
Well, I don't want to, I'm discouraged by the dissension, but at any rate, I understand.
This is not a dissension. It's just a principle I stand on.
Ms. Beth says she can handle it in open.
You want me to do it now?
Tammy, would you mind stepping to the mic so that we
Listen,
can pick up with it?
I'm not asking you to, Tammy. I mean, they can handle it.
Fine.
The three of them can handle it. As long as they got a quorum, they can handle it. So you don't have to do it. I'm not
Okay.
asking you to.
So Tammy, you're on now strictly to having to do with the amended old budget.
Okay. Give me
You're
this.
okay with this here?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. Truly, I am. This is gonna sound like a lot, so I don't want y'all to panic when I give these numbers out. We're amending the present budget, and there was a lot of things paid this year, and we used reserves that had been released and other reserves we had accumulated, and I'm wanting to amend this year's budget and add $492,500. That sounds a lot, but that's how much we've gone over this year,
Out of reserves.
out of reserves. And I even have like $42,500 that's coming in the next few days. Chief Waston brought that to my attention. I had forgotten to even add that. I first had $450,000, so I've added that. So this is money that's coming in, and it's called other financing sources. We've already paid for all of this. And so we're needing to amend the budget to compensate for all these items that we've already paid for, and we have used our reserves and paid all this. So I'm wanting to amend this year's budget on the general $492,500, and on water and sewer an extra $100,000. And I'm hoping that's going to keep us from having been written up this coming year on our audit. We spent a good bit this past year. It was some unusual things, and even in addition to this, we even paid off a $200-something thousand landfill note. But even that's separate from this, but that's part of my budget on my landfill, that we had that money come in from DOT, I think it is, and that paid that note, and we had to pay that note off with it because it was very specific. But we just had a good bit of money that was spent, and it wasn't one department before y'all all asked. It was not one department. It was all departments. We just had a lot of a lot of additional expenses last year.
Anybody got any questions of Ms. Metz relative to amending the budget to compensate for the over expenditures this past year? This with her adjustments being done this month, before the month closes it out, will prohibit us, or most likely will prohibit us from having audit finding when our auditor comes in next year, and that's what we're trying to do.
Well, I've still got 4 weeks of bills coming in,
I understand that.
so,
I make a motion, we authorize the, Ms. Dial,
Bids.
Ms. Dial,
it's
to,
unvoted.
to make the necessary budget adjustments.
And I even have it broken down between the departments if y'all need me to.
I think in light of what you've said, unless somebody's got some questions, we've got a motion on the floor. Let me stop there and see if we can get a second. Gentlemen,
Oh, I see.
Mr. Griffin made the second to the motion that we allow our accountant, Ms. Metz, to amend the present budget to reflect a balanced budget at the year-end closing. Is there any further discussion now?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to take in, I mean, I know when we were taking writing our budgets for this year, we were looking at expenditures from last year through the street department. There were several items on there that showed expenditures and everything for different items that were not spent.
What?
That will what?
That were not spent. They were not,
Now, the street department went over their budget by over 100,000.
that's what I'm saying. There's in question one where it showed on there a $69,000 pay for a new garbage truck, which we didn't pay $69,000 for a new garbage truck. We spent $75,000 out of Splots. We financed $69,000, which we're making payments on at this time,
But we have to go ahead and book that capital outlay.
even if we haven't spent it.
Yes. But there, I'm gonna have to look back because I really think there was some leases and everything in the street department. I'd have to look.
I mean, that's one in particular there. I mean, there was another one I was looking at also.
But see, my other financing sources includes that money that has been borrowed to pay for that piece of equipment.
Okay.
That 69,000 has been financed. So that is one of my other financing sources.
Okay, that's what, there was stuff in there that I was not, trying to take and go back and budget this year, and looking at what it said we were at, and knowing we haven't paid this out and not understanding this is like, I mean,
But see, that's my other financing source.
so this money is actually, it's paper money, it's not anything other than, it's numbers and figures that you have
Just
to
one of
move
the
around.
few, that's one of the few.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, but it's numbers and figures that have, there may be loans existing, but you still have to show them as outgoing.
Yes, and like if I get an invoice, say, at the end of July, that says for June 30th, I've got to book that expense in this year.
Oh, I understand that, I understand that.
And so if the money won't be gone out yet, as of June
Right.
30th.
Right, I mean, I understand that, because you're taking and paying a June bill, and it's at the end of the, but then the other, that's what I was talking about, with some of the other sizable ones that were on there. These are notes that we may have, we may be carrying along at the bank, but we still have to show it as outgoing capital.
Capital
And then-
outlay.
Capital outlay, and then when we go back, as you're doing now and amending the budget, it takes and figures back into this $492,000 to take and bring us back in line.
But all my salaries in every department exceeded everything that was budgeted. And that's a lot of what I'm compensating for also.
Okay. I mean, that was just one line, and then there's a few others in there that but I understand how it's done now, so,
And just for example, on Chief Waston, his generator that he bought, we've already had to spend the money for it, and that money's coming in. But we got to show the whole thing, and then I'm going to show it in other, well, that part will be in grant revenue.
right, I understand. I just wanted to make sure that, I mean, I wasn't missing something. Now that you've explained it, I understand it. Okay, that's all.
And on the water sewer, remember 100,000.
Right, I understand that.
Okay.
As Ms. Metz has explained to me, the overall cash position of the city with reference to the general fund has been depleted in excess of $400,000.
Yes. So it pretty well matches what I'm amending the budget by.
So that, and some of the details. That was what, well, anyway, we won't go into that. Anything else, any other questions relative to Ms. Smith's suggestion on how we amend our budget and get ourselves in a better posture to end the year? Hearing none, I call for a vote on the motion. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say aye. Hearing none, the motion is carried. We've amended the budget as per your recommendation.
Can I go ahead and do the new budget?
Yes, we'll go ahead and do that.
Well, this is before the amendment. So here's your 2016. You've each got a copy. And of course, this is just like we just did, we can always amend this. We sort of had to start with something. And for the water and sewer, basically it's $1,544,300. It's the total revenue, and then we've got the offsetting expenses on that. Any questions on water and sewer?
I think water and sewer is always, of course, we were a little off there, but our water and sewer project has stood on its own feet very well. Is there any questions relative to the water and sewer budget? If not, I entertain a motion that we approve it as she's prepared. Have you all had a chance to look at it? I hope you have. All right, entertain a motion that we accept the water and sewer budget as prepared.
Make a motion.
Mr. Bloodless made a motion that we accept it as Ms. Smith prepared it. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Purser. Are there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor of approving the water and sewer budget for the upcoming year, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the water and sewer budget has been approved. Okay, general,
Fund, let's sort of look at some of the detail. Everybody, you'll see the page number up in the upper right-hand corner, and that'll be what I refer to. So let's look at page 1. Last year, we actually did not collect the property taxes that we thought we were going to collect. So we have reduced that some to try to be more in line with what we will really collect this year. It's pretty self-explanatory. Also, I want to bring to your attention the local option sales tax. We have reduced that by $77,000. That is what is anticipated that we're going to receive that much less in this upcoming year. And everybody knows that's the gate card. Everybody's getting to buy things exempt from sales tax. So we're expecting to receive less on that, and so we're trying to make sure that we plan for that.
Can I ask something? Getting back to the property tax, we collected $628 last year, right?
Right.
But we're only budgeted $514.
That 628 was really all the year. That was all the years. That wasn't just for 2015.
That was the prior years, okay. Okay, that answers my question.
any questions about the tax aspect of the budget? Let's move on.
The license, that's pretty standard. Everything else is pretty well self-explanatory. Look on page 2. And this will be probably, the airport fuel we went down on because the prices have gone down. But what we tried to do is budget what we thought we might receive. And in the expenses, you'll see his department expenses have gone down significantly. And what we did is we tried to just put the net revenue that he'll probably earn on selling that fuel. So that's why that is less. That really doesn't affect the overall budget because we've offset those two amounts by what really is probably going to be earned.
This year, up until the last report, I think, Cody, we saw where we had a figure there, a budget of $250,000 for fuel. You'd only spent $109,000 or something. And we've adjusted it to $120,000. We think that's much more in line. And now of the $121,000, I don't know, we're gonna do a better job of trying to put a P&L on what the fuel is actually producing for us. But we don't, we're doing the best we can with what we've got right now. Go ahead.
What really you may have a question about that looks different that you normally don't see is at the very bottom, other financing sources, 200,000. We're hoping to get some additional sinking fund money that has been tied up, released. And we also have 50,000 in reserves, and that's gonna make up that 200,000.
Okay.
And so that brings us to a total of $3,266,617. Turn to page 3, and that starts with the different departments, if y'all scan. I know everybody always wants more, but we're trying to live within our means. And
I want to call it, I think I need to call the attention to an item with reference to my budget that we would be remiss if we didn't point out. When I was mayor before, I bought a new 2008 Chevrolet Impala. When I left office, I put right at 100,000 miles on it, and getting that out of the car as much as I had, I wore the seats out on it. I'm beginning now with my automobile again to put a lot of miles up and down the road. I'm on the road a good bit. And if you'll notice in the previous year, you don't have the total figures there, but with Jack, when he was here, it cost the city $8,400 for health insurance. You don't pay any time health insurance on it, and that's the reason our budget is about $5,000 less. But with that, because of my automobile expenses, I'm asking for an automobile allowance to be increased. And you'll see that there. But even with that, my budget is going to be $5,000 less than it was last year.
city clerk is $8,000.
Sounds good.
City clerk budget is $8,000 less. General administration is $5,500 more. That's page 4. And that's because we are updating our computer system and we have a new support. Turn to page 5. Go to page 7. Well, no, let's turn back to page 5. Excuse me. Police department, no increase or decrease. That was good. Turn to
Well, I
page-
think what Steve did when he brought it in to me, he said there's an item or two he may have increased, but he may decrease his comparable, do it somewhere else. And he said, I'm turning in exactly the same budget. If you look at the bottom of page 5, you'll see that the budget last year and this year is asking for the same funds.
Fire department on page 7, their budget's $513,204. It increased by a little over $10,000. Page 8 is the animal control, and we reduced some areas and went up on the vet bill. The vet bill seems to be very large this year, and this budget amount is not close to what was spent in this current year.
Absolutely. And
But,
y'all, the vet bills, I wish you'd go back and look at your last months. Do you have your financial statement? Well, you do. You have it there. If you go back and look, veterinary bills at the animal control unit, they're just eating us alive. I mean, it's just, but now we cut it back and budgeted only $8,000, and we're gonna try to live with it if we can.
But it's significantly more, several thousand more.
And since we're in such serious matters and need even all this best, when we were here working with it, struggling with it, I told Tammy and Ms. Bernice that I thought they were doing facelifts at the veterinary clinic.
At page 10, this is the street department, and we decreased it by about $60,000, but that's primarily because of the landfill. We're not expecting, hopefully, to have a big liability that we have to pay out on the landfill this year. Any questions? Recycle on page 11, not much difference there. The airport, as I said earlier, that's down because we decreased the gas and the jet fuel. The other items, there was other items that he needs, like the camera system and everything that we have budgeted for and run the running lights.
The only thing that reflects different on your budget is fuel. That's the only thing.
On page 13, under civic, you'll see where we decreased the Christmas lights, but we have some special funds in another account that's going to be able to compensate for that and pay for the Christmas lights. So we took this out of our budget here. But we'll still be able to buy some new Christmas lights.
But we have reduced that, if you'll notice there now, by about $4,000.
Page 14, the golf course, we did increase that budget by $106,530, so it's any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I need to look at that closer. I don't think we're gonna spend near that much money.
Oh, that'd be
I really
great.
don't.
That'd be
I really
fantastic.
That's okay, this is just
That'll
a
make
guide.
us look good.
Yeah, this is just a guide, but I think we.
This is just a guide, and,
And another thing, maybe we can reduce the expenses, Tom, and maybe also we can get more memberships and fees and get the revenue in it too, so that it won't be quite as damaging as it looks.
I don't think it's gonna be as nearly as bad as we're projecting.
I just really didn't budget near enough in the prior year, so this year I was trying to compensate and, Bernice and they tried to make it more in line with what we had spent. Okay,
And if you look now, just sort of trying to, it takes that thing here, you'll see the $3,266,617 in revenue and expenditures, and that's the balanced budget if y'all approve it.
and so we've actually reduced the budget by about $82,000.
And we're gonna try to live within it. Entertain a motion relative to the budget, the upcoming budget. Tell them mighty quiet.
I'll make a motion we approve the budget as presented.
Mr. Purser made a motion, we approve the budget presented by Ms. Betts. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Bloodworth. Any discussion relative to the upcoming budget? Any discussion relative to the upcoming budget? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Not hearing none. Ms. Tammy, you've got both revised and new budget. Thank you for your hard work. You put a lot of time in this, and I do appreciate it a lot. Okay, let's get on. And Ms. Reynolds, you're still going to be waiting to get into executive session with your item there. Okay, Mr. Attorney, you say you had nothing to do with this work detail
Well, I
agreement?
understand from the work session, what somebody gonna contact.
We've got it. It's good, yeah. Ms. Bernice got it, I'm sorry. We got it down. Go ahead, Bernice.
This is the work detail agreement with the Bacon County Department of Corrections. They actually sent an updated version since our work session from the half price that we were paying. And the compensation for the full year is $39,500 per year for the term of this agreement. And it goes from July 1st of 2016 till June the 30th of 2017. You all have a copy of this in your package, and this is the one that we wanted updated from last work session that I included in the
We've already,
package.
for those of you that might not have been here during the work session, we hashed this out pretty well, and I think Councilman Purser was one that first mentioned it. He thought we ought to utilize this cheap labor a little bit better, and so we all agreed to do that at work session. So it's now before you, and it's ready for me to sign and get the Department of Corrections to sign. Entertain a motion, we execute the contract.
Make a motion.
Mr. Griffin's made a motion that we execute the contract with the Department of Corrections. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Purser. Any further discussion?
Yeah, how are we gonna, can we set up If you can just ask Jeff to set up.
Wait a minute, let's handle this now. I think I'm going to solve your problem.
Well, let's solve it before we vote.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Yes, sir. Let's go ahead. All right, let's go.
Well, I just want to make sure that, you know, in the past, we weren't paying enough to get the service we need, and we just, and I'm very much in favor of getting a full contract, paying more, and getting the service. Now, how are we going to be sure that we're getting the service?
Well, you've got a real good surprise that your
Okay, that's what
problem
I
is
want.
solved. I talked with Jeff,
Okay.
and Jeff is completely in agreement with this.
Good.
And he's allowed Ms. Bernice as city clerk and your illustrious mayor
Okay.
to be responsible for supervision and direction of the
Oh, that's
prison,
right, okay.
prison lady.
Okay. I got
And
it.
with those two people directing this, you're gonna get your money for it.
Now, okay, I'm fine.
Are you happy now?
I'm happy.
We got a motion before the floor to execute a contract with the Department of Corrections. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The contract will be executed, Ms. Bernice. If it don't work out right, it's your fault. Hey, we gotta have a little fun. as we go
Charm
along.
might go a long way though.
We gotta have a little fun as we go along. Y'all, Miss Lillian Pace has served very diligently. In fact, I served with her back during the time that I was on the Hospital Authority Board and
Housing.
Housing Authority, excuse me. Thank you, Tom. The time that I served on the Housing Authority Board, and she's so dedicated and been there a long time. And Ms. Parrish, you know, is deceased. She's been there for a long time. She's the anchor out there and is willing to serve again. I entertain a motion that we reappoint Ms. Pace to the Housing Authority.
So moved.
Mr. Purser made the motion. Here a second.
Second.
Mr. Bloodworth seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of reappointing to the Housing Authority, Ms. Lillian Pace Dixon, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ms. Dixon will notify her that she, for your appointment. You know, I don't think, Ken, have you got anywhere, or are you anywhere near completing this problem? with the
Yeah,
secretary?
I'm gonna give this to the clerk to send y'all copies. This is a pretty thorough ordinance. We took the old ordinance and we went in and added all these concerns that we had about the digging the graves and no notices and the monuments and everything. So I'm gonna give this to her to disseminate to everybody to, y'all look at it. It's pretty thorough now. And then at the next work session, we can discuss and answer any questions. We can
Get it approved next month?
Yeah.
All right.
So I just leave with you to get it to them.
Okay, gentlemen, we're going to, with your approval, unless you've got some discussion, we're going to hash this out for a month and try to handle it during the coming month. Now then, Mr. Attorney, what about these graves that are in the wrong place?
All right, what we're gonna have to do there is an amazing gap in the law regarding this situation. And so we're gonna have to go to what's known as equity in Superior Court. We're gonna have to file a petition in Superior Court, an equitable petition, and set forth what our situation is. We've got, as I understand, 3 bodies. We don't know who they are, where they came from. So we don't know who to give notice. We have to run notice in the paper to do that, and then get an order from the court. And we're researching now to see, there's supposed to be on the caskets a serial number, you know, after the flooding in '94. And when we exhume these bodies, we're gonna put this in the petition. Hopefully, whoever did it complied with the law, and that serial number can trace it back to where they came from. But we've got to get the Superior Court order to do that. So with y'all's authorization, we'll prepare a petition in equity to get this filed and get it moving and going.
I think we need to do that, and for those who may not have been here in the work session and those about this, somehow or other, and I don't know how this happens, y'all, but people are going out there and opening graves and putting bodies in, and to make a long story short, sometimes the casket, the grave is halfway in Mr. Jones' lot, halfway in Mr. Smith's lot. And it's just Christ, it's the biggest mess you've ever seen in your life. And Mr. Smith and Mr. Jones don't know who it is. It's ain't none of their kin folks. And here we've got a body that's sparsed in 2 different people's lots. And it's got to be handled. We keep pushing and kicking the can down the road. So you're going to proceed with that.
Y'all authorize me, and I'll go prepare a petition and get it going.
I make a motion to authorize,
Mr. Gribby's made the motion. We authorize the attorney to take care of this problem. Second by Mr. Purser. Any further discussion?
Yeah, this wouldn't have anything, you know, occasionally I go to a county commission meeting, you know, the county is required to, pay for,
Paupers.
paupers burial. This wouldn't have anything to do with that, would it? Do you know, Robert?
Nobody knows.
Chief has a question
We
there.
normally have a separate area in the
That's what I
back
was
for
thinking.
paupers. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
that
And
answers
it's
my question.
definitely not that.
Okay, that answers my question.
But they may end up there.
That's probably where we're gonna have to put it.
If
we can identify.
trace them
Probably
down,
put it,
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where, if we can't identify them, of course, I guess if the family, and if we identify the family and who put them in the other fellow's grave, I hope we'll sue them, because we need to stop this mess.
Chief, you have all the information on that? Can I get with you to?
Jeff and
what
I can
facts
get
we
with you
have?
on that, yes, sir.
All right, you'll try to be better position to talk about this next time. You're gonna proceed with it.
Yes,
For this, hey, if we voted on this, okay, all right, all in favor of approving this authorization, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You can proceed. We'll look forward to some more information for the next meeting. All right. Now then, we met with our attorney and the county's attorney and the sheriff and Tommy and who all was there? This, we had a meeting
Wayne
relative.
Hall, and, no, I can't, I
Ray.
had too many to do. Jeffrey
Keith
Parker
Ray.
was there, Keith Ray.
At any rate, we have been operating a little bit delinquent with reference to our intergovernmental agreement, and we had some issues with it when it was brought to us. Chief Lynn had some issues, but we got there, and I want to say that I thought we worked them out real well, didn't you? I thought I was real pleased with the county and the city and the two attorneys. We worked it out, and our attorneys got it all done. Surely you don't have to read that whole thing, are you?
I don't think so, y'all read it.
All right, will you proceed with the explanation of it?
Well, essentially, with the intergovernmental agreement, by having the intergovernmental agreement, the city then will pass a resolution that we will, under the code section that's provided for, when there is an intergovernmental agreement, we will levy an additional 10% add-on to all fines that the city levies. That will be remitted to the county for the jail fund, to be used solely for the jail fund. In return for that, the county now has been charging us $30 per diem on a calendar day for every inmate that the city police took there. And that's even if it turned out to be a state offense. So we were having a pretty good bill, Chief, were we not, from arrests that we made that ended up being state court or superior court charge rather than municipal court. So we were able to negotiate with them that when we bring an arrestee in, we have to pay the booking in fee of $30 per diem. But we then have, I think, it costs for 12 business hours in which to go get a warrant. And if we do that, if it's a state case, then we are no longer charged a per diem for that. Because again, it's not a city case after that, it's a state case. And it's not from the time we get the warrant, it goes back to the actual date of arrest. So the only charge we have is $30 for that. The county has the right to raise this $30 per diem upon giving us notice that they're going to do it in 90 days. If they do that, we have 30 days in which we can object. So that leaves 60 days to arrive at
An agreement.
an agreement. And if we don't, then we can cancel the intergovernmental agreement. We don't foresee that happening, but it's a safety valve, so to speak, with the city for what we feel may be unwarranted raises if that should happen.
And one thing, I think we're gonna find that our $30 per day that we've been being charged is gonna reduce, because we managed to get in a 12 working hours, which actually gives us a second day
Right.
to get a warrant. So we've got plenty of time to get the warrant, stop that $30 per day. So I think we've wound up with a pretty good agreement there. All in favor of approving this agreement, say aye.
Aye.
Wait a minute, we
I
have a
don't
motion.
think we made a motion.
Yeah, we have. I'm trying to get it done, I'm trying to move here.
I make a motion.
Thank you, Tommy, for the motion that we accept the agreement drawn by the attorneys. There a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bloodworth. Now, any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. All right, what's next?
The ditch swing
Yeah,
drainage agreement.
all right, you got that ready?
Yes. This is the drainage agreement we discussed at the work session that has to do with Yellow Jacket Car Wash.
Actually, let me just interrupt. It's really not a Dick's Wings.
Well, we
It's
keep
a
calling it Dick's
Jacket-
Wings.
Jacket Car Wash.
It's Jacket Car
That's the
Wash.
problem with it. Dick's
Exactly.
Wings is fine.
Dick's Wings
Don't
side,
make a problem
we good with the easement on that, Ms. Ruby Hughes is
We
fine.
know it is the Dix
there.
Wings project.
I understand that. I understand.
This actually has to do with Yellow Jacket Car Wash. And in meeting with the owner of that, he's willing to sign the easement, provided that the city replace the existing old drain line that's substantially into his property. And then he will assume ownership of that drain line. The city will have no responsibility for maintenance. And his position is, because that line was put there over the years basically without easement, he doesn't know what's there, it's deteriorating. And if he grants a new easement where the city's gonna go on a different location on the edge of his property, then he may be stuck with considerable expense with this old pipe. The upshot is, basically that's what he wants to do in return for signing the easement. It's a lot cheaper for the city to do that than to go through a condemnation process to get the easement for him. And my recommendation to the city was to enter into that agreement with him in return for getting the easement that we need to finish this project out. So,
Now, is all easements been signed except this now?
have not heard back from Omar's. I sent a letter to Mr. Lynn last week. I have not received anything back from him as yet. If I don't have anything by the first of the week, I'm in court Monday and Tuesday. I've called a friend of mine up in Eastman who was supposed to get in touch with him, but I haven't heard from him. It may take getting in the car and driving up there and hunting him down.
We sure need to get that done because those folks are needing.
I'll talk to Mr. Robert Williams. Obviously, he's had contact with him and negotiated the deal that he had with him, so, but that's the only thing left hanging.
Okay, y'all have heard the attorney's report relative to the easement and the conditions under which we've got to secure it. Do I entertain a motion?
Make a motion.
Mr. Griffin made the motion that we execute the agreement with Mr. Sellers. Is that his name? Last name?
This has to be the LLC. He owns the LLC.
Okay. All right, is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Purser. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I understand that this is not a real long
It's
pipe,
not.
and this is something you can do, Blaine. Is that right?
Oh,
Your department?
We're handling that.
I mean, we can do it, no
Yes.
problem. Okay.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Y'all notice the bill from Hofstadter for the cost of the design on this. Any questions relative to that? I entertain a motion that we pay this bill.
So moved.
Mr. Burster made the motion that we pay the bill. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Griffin. Any further discussion relative to the bill? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. All right, what's the next item, folks? Okay, this is an old item too, that, and the contract is in your, or has been in your packet for a day or two relative to the lease purchase arrangement on the new backhoe for the water and sewer department. You got it before you. I entertain a motion relative to executing the lease.
I'll make a motion to execute the lease for the backhoe for the water sewer department.
Commissioner Griffin has made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Purser. Further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Blaine, you didn't think that day would ever come, did you? Huh?
I'm proud to see it too.
All right. Congratulations, my you did it. Okay, we've got some requests for
Can I,
training.
let me tell you, in the past, you've had to use the street department's backhoe, isn't that right?
I have to ask them to send a driver, operator
Okay.
and the backhoe. If they're at the airport running somewhere, we got to leave the street open
Okay.
until,
I think this bill goes right in.
we had one for 25 years.
Blaine is very happy.
Yeah.
All right, okay, Chief, you want to discuss your training request?
Mandate training, annual training in Savannah.
Okay, you mandate training for, in Savannah for you, I believe, Mr. Parker?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I entertain a motion to approve this training.
So
Make a motion.
Motion made by Mr. Bloodwood to approve this training, seconded by Mr. Purser. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. All right, we've got a GMA annual conference in Savannah for mayor and council and city clerk coming up. Entertain a motion that we approve this expenditure.
Make a motion, we approve the expenditure.
Mr. GMA executive makes the motion that we approve this. That's very appropriate. Thank you for doing that. Is there a second to this motion? Second by both Purser and Bloodworth. We'll let 1 second, 1:30. So now we're ready. Any further discussion relative to this matter? I call for the vote.
Yeah, I'd just like to say something that's really, well, it is part of this matter. Just to pat Commissioner Griffin on the back, that at the GMA annual conference, the district officers will be approved, and Commissioner Griffin has been nominated to be the president, is that the president of our district. So that's a real feather in his cap and the city of Hazlehurst cap.
Him to serve in that position. He's the district president for coming here. But actually, it's already been confirmed, hasn't it?
It's been
It's
confirmed.
already been.
But I think it's finalized at the convention.
It's been confirmed already, so I too congratulate Commissioner Griffin on this accomplishment. Now we have a vote before us, a motion and a second before us. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Okay, I think just as a matter of information, Ms. Bernice, you want to recap this, or you want me to do it relative to the community development block grant? Go ahead.
Basically, we received a letter June the 9th from the Heart of Georgia Autumn Hall Regional Commission in reference to the Community Development Block Grant 2017 applications, stating that the increase in some of the grant programs and the minimum 70% low to moderate income people for the CDBG grants. A lot of information in this. It also stated that applications are due in Atlanta by April 1st, 2017. A lot of information here, and we can go to the actual website to look up a lot of things. And we can also contact Mr. Manning about this if we have any questions.
And for years, with my knowledge of my experience, the maximum has been $500,000. And it appears that most likely, and someone's told me that it's very likely, that the amount is going to be increased to $750,000.
Well, it will be, having attended the CDG workshop last December, it will be increasing to up to $1 million at one point and everything, from what I'm understanding.
So even beyond the letter, he said $750,000.
750.
You think that you've even got later information?
Well, I said this was from the December, now if he's got it since then, I went to class in December, and they were going from, it was either, like you said, it was 300,000 with no match, and then they took, and they were definitely going to 750 with the possibility of it. So
That's great. Well, at any rate, what they said too with this is that the cost of doing all these projects are increasing, and now, even if you get $750,000, that's doing about what $500 million used to do. But at any rate, that's going to increase. And we've got 2 or 3 projects in mind. And of course, Ms. Sarah Davis with ALGA and Alma and Pearl, have always been able to put together a package that we were able to, every time we had a chance, we could hit this grant. And I intend for us to do the same thing again. Okay, that's just information. Who will, Ms. Race, are you handling this request for sponsorship?
Mr. James Cray actually left the packaging with Chief Lynn, and Chief Lynn brought it to me, and I made copies of it. And it's the Generation Reaching, Educating, and Teaching. It's a nonprofit organization that Mr. Cray is president of, and he's actually looking for sponsorship, but I believe this is something that we probably need to look at because I don't know that we can actually do a sponsorship topic like this. But I was just bringing it to the council.
Have all of you looked at that little pamphlet that you put in your folder? Tommy, you got any response on that?
Yeah, I would like to say in absence of my good.
Oh, yeah, by the way, he's sick, you know.
I know, and
He's
he,
sick.
I've watched this organization very closely over the years, and they really are doing really good work over there. And I'm not suggesting we approve it tonight, but I'm thinking in the future, you know, we put in the budget to help the chamber. And this is doing a lot of good work over here. It really is, and we need to
Consider it.
seriously consider it. But I'm not asking for any action tonight, but I think he would tell you that too.
All right, well, what we'll do with this, with the thing that we did with an item or two before this, we'll mull this over and discuss it as we go along. We'll try to make a decision on this next month. That suit everybody? All right, we've got the water and sewer report, and we're off a little bit. If you look, what is, how much? Well, no, the water, the check registers first, well, okay. Suit me. Have you looked at the check register when we paid the bills? Anybody got any questions about the bills? Hearing none, I entertain a motion.
Got the money, let's pay them, make a motion.
They're already paid. All you're doing is just approving it. Motion made that we approve the payment of the bills. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Purser. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The check payment of the bills has been approved. All right, now we get down to the water and sewer adjustments. You notice there was $2,000 off on sewer, $1,000 off on water, and here we are in the middle of the summer, or maybe it'll pick up this month, but we're down with revenue a little bit, but that's not.
I'll turn my sprinkler system. on
Okay,
when I
good.
get home.
I'm wondering, it's gonna be a good one this next.
Okay, maybe we'll offset this loss we've had here.
If I'm not mistaken, due to one of the ladies being out, the water meters were read Saturday before normally read by several days.
They were read early.
So you think that accounts for it?
Yes,
huh?
yes.
Okay, all right, well,
Plus, then it's been much harder since, so.
you think we're gonna make that part?
Oh, yes.
Well, another thing too, I know that we've got a member of the council who's working on the porch in his backyard, and he's sweating, and he's gonna turn the sprinkler on himself to try to keep himself cool, so we'll have more water revenue next month. You've got that report, all we do is accept that. Oh, yeah, we got a five.
Wait, I'm gonna make a confession. I'm gonna be in the office tomorrow to get my building permit. The mayor kept his big mouth shut. I'm sorry, let's go next item.
I'll open the government for you.
Mr. Goody Two Shoes I wouldn't take nothing for that. Oh, I'm proud of that. Jack Lake, you. All right, we got, what now?
You got to make a motion.
On what now?
We didn't make a motion and approve that one.
The water and sewer, or we will approve the check ratio. Talking about the monthly water and sewer adjustment?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I entertain a motion that we approve the, no, that's not, that's report, we'll have to do that. The water and sewer adjustments for $500, we have to approve that one. Okay. $353. Entertain a motion that we approve the water and sewer adjustments.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Purser, there's second.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, we've got that done. Now, then we're down for citizens' comments. And, Mayor, anybody got any comment? Yes, sir, Chief.
Just report to the council that we had a GBI audit last Wednesday and the police department aced it. I wanted to let y'all know that we were very proud that the GBI auditor bragged on us, said it's one of the best audits she's ever done, and just to give y'all that information. Secondly, we have received delivery of both of our vehicles that y'all graciously approved last meeting.
And they're on the road.
Now, they're on the road, but we have them in our parking lot. And we sold our old two vehicles today on govdeals.com.
How'd your yard sale go?
We're still working on the small outlet, but both of the vehicles sold is what we want. Thank you.
Okay, good. By the way, is that report in such form that you can get that to the local newspaper?
Yes, sir.
I believe I do that. Okay,
Citizens' comments.
yeah, I'm waiting. Yes,
You know,
ma'am.
I got one.
Okay, come on.
I just got one question. The backhoe, is that coming out of splosh money?
No.
No? Okay.
And another thing too, it's got 5 equal payments, and we're doing it just like we're doing the equipment in the street department. Our accountant put me on the arm and said, you got a big note coming up to pay off here. But what we're probably gonna do with this thing, we've got the option to pay off that 47,000 at the end of the lease, or they'll just bring us a new machine and continue the lease. So it's actually what it is an ongoing cost of having and maintaining a good current piece of equipment and then servicing it.
Now, the payoff is like 70-something thousand. It's way more.
That's the old one, but then we're not gonna exercise that either.
Okay.
Now, this one is 47,000. The one that was the street department that you were worried about is 70,000, but we're not gonna exercise that. They're gonna bring us another piece of equipment, and we're gonna pay the same annual payment. Okay.
Let me just expand on what Rhonda, I'm trying to think of the word, Tim. It's not that the water and sewer is proprietary. What is the word?
It's an enterprise fund.
Enterprise fund. And because it's an enterprise fund, it has to make profit. It has to stand on its own. We can't use SPOS funds to support it. Understand what I'm saying?
I got
We have
you.
to use revenues to do it.
Thank you for clarifying that.
You're under obligation that your charges for water and sewer have to, and other meters and whatnot, has to produce enough revenue to justify the expenditures in delivering that service. And you cannot intermingle all these other funds, police, fire, and all these other funds with water and sewer. It's a freestanding enterprise. All right?
Mayor, can I say one thing?
Yes, sir.
I'd just like to invite y'all to come by and look at the training center. We're working on it, making good progress on it. We're trying to get it prepared and ready and operational before ISO comes back in. Means big points for us on our ISO grading to have this, and we're gonna do it. A facility like we're building right now will cost you over $500,000 if you have a company to come in and build it. We're doing it for not even a fraction, I mean, just minimal costs. And that's gonna take us a little longer, but we're making headway on it.
That's
A
good.
lot of work on it.
Good. It's going to be a good training center, I think. All right. Any other comments? Any other comments? Commissioners?
Yeah, I just want to take and reiterate what Charles said too. I went over and looked at the training facility the other day. Y'all need to go by and look at it if you haven't been. It's a very impressive thing, what it's gonna have and what it's gonna bring to the city and surrounding areas and everything as far as training goes. So, like I said, y'all need to take and really get by and see it and everything. And, it's gonna be a shot in the arm for us.
Thank you. Any other comments? Hearing none, entertain a motion to go into executive.
Are we still in commissioners?
Yeah.
All right, and I
You're normally not this slow, Tom.
I know, hesitate to even bring this up, but are we gonna do anything on the 911 thing, or are we just gonna continue to wait? I mean, what should we do? I don't know. I just don't know. I'm so frustrated by it, and I'm so tired of fighting it. I'm beat. I'm absolutely beat.
Well, I mean, like I said, since you brought it up, I mean, until we can take and sit down and discuss if we're going to do anything at all from the city with it, I mean,
Okay.
I
That's
believe
fine.
it's just a moot point.
That's
At this
fine.
point.
I think-
That's all I need to hear.
I think that I have too, Tommy, since we had our hash down, where you and I were trying to compromise with them. They have since then known that we're having to do this tremendous adjustment that we've had to make in our budget to make ends meet. And we're at the end of the year, and we really don't have the money to pay with it.
That's fine.
We really don't have it. And I have made that plea to them, and I think they believe me.
Okay. That's all I want. That's all I want.
Okay. All right, entertain a motion relative to the executive session.
Make a motion, go to executive session
All right, and the purpose is
to discuss personnel.
Litigation.
and
Oh,
litigation.
we got a personnel.
personnel and litigation, both, yeah. All right, is there a second to the motion?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be gone, we'll be as expedient as possible, we'll be back as soon as possible. We need to carry, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
While we were in executive session, we had a meeting with our insurance agent, and she has given us some bad news that because of various workman's comp and other suits and liabilities, our insurance has increased by a tune of how many thousand, Ms. Brenda?
$18,000.
$18,000. Over the previous year was 140 something, that's 160 something thousand. I entertain a motion that we approve the insurance as outlined by Ms. Reynolds.
I make a motion, we approve the insurance by Ms. Reynolds, and they also authorize the down payment of $44,394.72.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Purser. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Ms. Reynolds, thank you. We enjoyed doing business with you. Anything else, gentlemen? I entertain a motion that we adjourn.
So moved.
Mr. Purser made a motion, we adjourn. Is there a second? Second by Mr.
Oh, that
Clifford.
Wait, falls to you, Tony.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Hey.
On that last